Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be reviewing the Blueberry Muffin palette from BH. This is one of the palettes I got with my October budget of this year, and we're going to do eye swatches, we're going to do an eye look. I'm going to use as many shades as I can, and we're just going to kind of see how it performs. This is a first impressions, it is not a review. This is my first time using this on my eyes. I have swatched a couple just because I wasn't going to be able to film for like 2 weeks, and I got the package and I wanted to, see a little sneak peek. So I have swatched maybe 2 or 3 of these shadows, but overall this is going to be a first impressions. Hold on, we're getting into it in just a second, but first I want to take a quick second and introduce myself. My name is Haley, here are my socials, and this is my realm of creativity where I mainly focus on fantasy and makeup related things. So if that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and becoming a companion on my makeup quest. I usually upload videos on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but for some reason, if I am not going to be uploading that day, I'll be sure to let you guys know on Twitter and Instagram, so be sure to go follow me on there. Now, let's get into the video. I am sorry if I have a glare on my glasses. I want to wear them because these are new and they're a new prescription, and I'm just trying to get acclimated to them. And if I leave them off for too long, I get headaches. So my window is open and I do have a light, so you're gonna have noise and maybe have a little glare. I'll take them off for the makeup part. So this is what the palette looks like inside. This is what the palette looks like inside. It is, the backing is holographic, and it is a gorgeous palette. I like that there's like this gray, and it's a really cool tone palette, especially with the browns. These are like the brown tones that I typically go for when I'm using browns. But yeah, the shimmers are I would say probably 2 of them look slightly more shimmered than the ones in the Switzerland palette that I reviewed before that. Before this one. Only a few of them look a little bit more textured. But these two look like maybe that one. These 3 look like they're the same. Oh, and those 2. So the textured ones look like this one and tempting. But we won't know until we swatch. So I'm going to just go row by row. Sometimes I like doing it in columns. It just depends on what the color story is and what I'm feeling that day. Right now we're doing row. First is Sweet. And that's just like a regular ass champagne-y gold color. This is Cheat Day. It's like a periwinkle blue matte. It's gorgeous. I don't think I have a lot of periwinkles, so that's gonna be really unique to my collection. Next is Crumble, and this one is more on the champagne. This was more on the gold. So this is Crumble. Next we have Decadent, which is one of those like warm maroon browns. Oh yeah, this is right up my alley. It feels drier than Cheat Day, just off of feeling them. That Decadent feels drier than Cheat Day. I'm sorry for all the non-energy I'm bringing today. I'm very tired. I'm so tired. It is the morning for me. I just woke up not even an hour ago. Woke up, cleaned my house, took my dogs out, and now I'm filming and drinking my coffee. And then maybe after this I'll do breakfast. I don't know. Next is Sugared, and this just looks like a standard like white shimmer inside corner type deal. It's a little chunky. Yeah. It's not the most wowing shimmer I've ever seen. Like, I feel like people are really losing their minds over this BH formula. This is Cravings, pinky champagne color. Next is Treat, which is that mid-tone gray that I'm really interested. And the last one of the second row is 350. So far, these are the two top rows. I'm hoping, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for two of the shimmers because they are those black based blues that I love. So I'm hoping that I'm just trying to sneakily eat a Reese's cup. First of the third row is So Good, and that is a matte. I do have glitter all over my arm. It's almost a purple, but not quite a true blue. Like a deep periwinkle. Like the cheat day I swatched. It's like that, like color-wise. Next is Tempting, which is one of those black-based blues. Oh yeah. I just think they're so pretty. So that was Tempting. Next is Yummy. And Yummy has a little bit of a dirtiness that it doesn't really translate in the pan. I'd say it's like a nice dusty pink shimmer. It's not really my everyday cup of tea. Like if I'm doing my makeup, it's not a color I would reach for, but it is a nice color. It reminds me of like a color that would be in the LA Girl, the Pro palette that I have. One of those pink shimmers. Next is a black with a lot of sparkle in it. Next is the black with a lot of sparkle in it. It's called Baker's Dozen. I don't know if you'll be able to see the sparkle on camera, but there's a lot of sparkle in the pan. It's like blue and red. I think it's just blue and red sparkle, but it doesn't really look like there's any on my arm, so I don't really know what the purpose of that was. It looks pretty in the pan, like kind of like a night sky, like it was black with the specks of sparkle. And swatching it on my arm, there's no sparkle there. So I don't really know what the purpose of that was. I know that some people say that it's to help it blend better, but the Switzerland palette has a black in it, or a really deep like charcoal, and it doesn't have shimmer in it, so I don't really know why that was necessary. Next is Hot and Fresh, which is just a nice silver metallic. I don't know if I have any other silvers off the top of my head. Like one of the, oh wait, no, I do. I lied. I would have to compare the two. Silver's not really a color I go towards. It's really drawing me in today. In the palette, it looks nice. On my finger, it looks nice. So I'm thinking with some glitter glue that it would be a little bit of magic, but we'll see. I don't know what I'm going to do with my look today. Next is a really light sky blue. It's like a baby blue. It's delish. I barely touched my finger to that. Like, the pigmentation on these palettes are really good for mattes. I'm really impressed. Next is a peachy flesh tone matte. Fluffy. And then last is that second black based blue that I love. Stud Muffin. So this is the last two rows. I'm hopeful for these blues. I was really let down in the Tokyo palette with that blue. So I love blue. It's my favorite color. I'm hoping that this performs better than that blue did, because this is an all blue palette, so we will see. I will do my bangs, do my bangs. I'll do my brows and part my bangs, and I'll be right back. I am back. My bangs are parted, my eyebrows are done, my eyes are primed with my Milani eye primer. That's what I use every time. I don't set it. We are going to start. I'm gonna do my best to use as many shades in the palette as I can. We're gonna start with Delish, and I'm gonna do kind of a take on an eye shape that I would do all the time when I was first starting out my makeup. So we're gonna do a take on that today. It's gonna be weird to do that again. I'm taking my BK 201. I am slightly modifying it to hopefully look better than it did when I did this. I used to like make a faux crease in a weird place. You'll see. So I'm going to just take that, like usually my normal, and I'm going to take it from the inside of my brow all the way out like that first. That's what I'm doing first. So until I feel like I've added enough to move on. I'm going to move to my BH number 8 and taking that same shade. This is just a little bit of a denser brush, following that same path like that. But now I'm bringing it down. Starting from the inside, going down to my socket. So far, the pigmentation is pretty much the same as the blue that I had in the Tokyo palette. When I was using the other brush, these blues really work best with a denser brush. Otherwise, they'll just sheer out too much. I'm going to take that same brush that I was using before and just go around the edges. I'm just slightly winging this up ever so slightly, nothing too far out. Just trying to keep it in my lid space, but also trying to keep it up. Like that. Now I'm going to take So Good, which is the darkest matte blue in the palette. And I'm going to go just slightly lower in my like actual crease. So I'm going from the inside, just right where like the bottom of that shadow ends, going, oh, that was pigmented, like that. I used to like do this weird cut creasy thing all the time. Why? I don't know. Probably because I was like learning my makeup from drag queens. Probably. That looks really interesting on camera. I've never done this on a camera before. So I'm just building that up to my desired intensity. I used to do this because I thought it was like the only way to make my eyes even, because this eye droops. And so I could never like get them to match. I'm going to take the brush that I've been using for blending and just softly go over the edge of that. Just softly. I'm sorry if the traffic bothers you. I really love filming with natural light, and that's just one of the drawbacks is, you know, being somebody who doesn't have noise cancellation stuff. I am going to take Decadent and focus it really on my outer corner, really heavy, and then probably dip back into So Good and mix between the two to just get that outer corner really dark. I'm just taking Decadent. Because I don't want to dip into that black just yet. It's making a nice purple, and I'm just focusing this on my outer V. Just like that. And then going back in with the 202. It looks like a bruise, guys. It's interesting. I'm just diffusing that a little bit before, and this is another issue with natural lighting. The sun goes away because clouds exist, and that just sucks. Especially when I'm filming. I am going to dip into Baker's Dozen, which was that matte with glitter in it, and dip in between that and So Good, which is the darkest blue in the palette. Because it just wasn't getting as dark as I wanted it to. And it was also looking like a bruise. So I was just only slightly worried that I would look like I had a bruise on my eye. What I did was I took So Good, which was that dark blue that we've been using, and mixing it with the light blue that we've been using just to blend the black slightly through the crease without making it black. We're just making the crease a little bit darker. And we're really getting it in just to keep it from going any further. And then I'm just going to take my, after I pop my fingers, I really wish there was like because everything is about the same tone, minus the like fluffy peach shade, the peach shade that's called Fluffy. It sounded like there was a fluffy eyeshadow in here. I would have actually liked an almost bone shade in here, which is very not typical of me, but I just feel like I'm having trouble lightening this up just a little bit. Because I'm going to be going in with the Lish, which was the shade I started with on my 202. I'm going to be going like that. Not taking it down into my crease, I'm really focusing it up there. Yeah. And now I'm going to cut my crease, and we're going to use Tempting on the outer part where it's dark, and then we're going to go into Hot and Fresh, which is that silver, and put it on the inner part. Cutting it, doing a half cut crease, going third of the way down my eye, above my crease. And then going in with that Tempting shade on the same brush I just laid my glue down with on the outside. Oh yeah, that's nice. One thing I haven't really found with these shadows, and is really like surprising, is the fact that there is little to no fallout. Like, do you see fallout? It's not there. The other two palettes as well that I've, did I do the Switzerland, and the Tokyo one, no fallout. So that's pretty impressive, if I do say. Oh, that's nice. See, I told you guys, with a little glitter glue, I would probably be very impressed with this shadow. I'm just flipping between the two sides to meld the seam, just like that. Wow, that is gorgeous, you guys. And then I'm going to be taking the brush I've been using all of my blending and packing for. Well, my packing is the number 8 brush with no real additional product yet, just to see how it'll go. Just going over that edge, just to blend it into the rest of the eye look. I haven't really dipped into anything. I'm just taking the 201 that I was using for the very first blue and just going up my brow bone just like that. Okay. So that is the eye look. I might smoke out my bottom lash line. So I'm going to do this on the other eye, do my base, and I will be right back. I am back. My glare is back. My face is done. I've been away for a while. I was going to smoke out my lower lash line, but I got all the way done and I thought that it just looked good as is. So I kind of decided to not do that, but kind of. I did decide to just not smoke out my lower lash line. Thoughts. I love this palette. I think that the blues perform a lot better in this palette than they did in the Tokyo palette. I'm trying to not blind you guys. There we go. There we go. The blues are really nice. I would say that I was surprised by Hot and Fresh. It's that silver, but I'm really not. Like, I knew that it was gonna pop when I put the glitter glue on it. I'm really looking forward to doing more of a neutral look with maybe a pop of one of those neutral shimmers, like Cravings or Crumble, either one of those. But overall, I'm really impressed with this. I have one more palette to test after this. This is the only one of the BH that I got that was the like food themed one. All the rest of the ones that I have are like the travel ones. So far I've done the Switzerland, which I loved, and then the Tokyo. The mattes were great. There really wasn't any shimmers in that palette. They were more satins. So that was kind of the downfall of that palette. But this one has outperformed both of those. So I'm hopeful for I think the only one I have left is the Barcelona. And I think it's going to probably be a tie for the Switzerland. And then this one is number 1 as far as the palettes that I got from BH for my budget. Hello, Mr. Sun. How are you? Hold on. Better? I think that this palette in particular is gorgeous. It makes me want to try like the avocado and the mimosa one as well, even though I'm not really into pinks and reds. There are some nice oranges in that palette, so who knows, I might pick those up. But yeah, this is a really great palette if you want, I think it's an equal mix of blues and neutrals. I think if blue is your go-to color when you're doing color, and for the most part you do neutrals, I think you'd be really happy with this palette. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a blue palette, and I wouldn't say that it is a neutral palette with a pop of blue. I think it's pretty much evenly split between blue shimmers and mattes and neutral shimmers and mattes. So yeah, I really enjoyed this palette. I will be doing more looks to form a more well-rounded view of all the shades in this palette and how they work. So stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please like, please subscribe. Comment down below any of your favorite BH palettes that you've tried this year or any you're thinking of picking up. I know that everybody is going crazy about this Blueberry Muffin palette, and rightfully so. I think that the hype is well deserved. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Bye!